Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. I'm George Wright III, and as always, I'm excited to provide you with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education so you can continue to create your ultimate destiny. Okay, so today's topic is the power of the mastermind. I'm so excited about this because it's the reason that I created the podcast and the mobile app in the first place. Now, many of you have probably heard of the mastermind, but I want to be able to dig into this just a bit before we start covering our daily principles. So today my goal is to briefly help you to understand what the mastermind is and how it works and how it can be applied in your life. And I'd also like to give you a couple of little strategies and steps you can use. Now, I first learned about the mastermind from reading Think and Grow Rich. How many of you have read Think and Grow Rich? Probably most of you. But if you haven't read it, I obviously highly recommend it. Think and Grow Rich was written by Napoleon Hill, and it's had over 100 million copies sold. 100 million copies. And it's been over 80 years since it was written, and it is still on the bestseller list. Now that really says something. The book Think and Grow Rich is one of the cornerstones of personal development. If you don't own a copy and have it on your bookshelf, you need to get it. Now if you have read it, when was the last time and how many of you actually study and apply its strategies ongoing? I want you to ask yourself that question because I personally read and continue to study and apply the principles all the time, and I continue to find golden nuggets. So let me kind of start out, and I want to give you a quick little story. About 5 years ago, when I was really struggling to find direction in personal and business life, I remember sitting down one night when I just couldn't sleep. Many of you might have that same problem. Many of us entrepreneurs just have trouble sleeping. But anyway, I was listening to the audiobook Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And that made a big impact on me. I was on chapter 3, and he detailed a similar point in his life where he was struggling and having a tough time. He had already written The Laws of Success, which was a huge success. He achieved a lot of the lifestyle and things that he wanted. But then all of a sudden, the Great Depression hit. And most people lost everything. Even Napoleon Hill had lost everything. He lost a 600-acre estate. All of his assets that were in a bank, the bank actually closed down. He had lost his confidence, his drive, his determination. He said he was listening and he was sitting out one night in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and he was questioning himself, and he was really struggling. He was saying things like, how could he believe and teach principles that he knew himself he was struggling with? Also, he would say, how am I going to be able to make any change in my life during the Great Depression when everything was going wrong for everyone? I mean, talk about a big obstacle. I think about that, what it was like, and compared to our problems today, my gosh. So he had these thoughts, and then all of a sudden it came to him, a thought and a realization, as real as anything. He remembered that there were a couple of principles. And I want to share those principles with you here today. First, he remembered that every obstacle carries within it the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. He realized that he had just been handed the greatest gift of all, to prove his strategies work in a time that was undeniably the worst on human mindset that he had ever witnessed. He also realized, second, he had not been applying the principle of the mastermind. He had basically been going at it all alone, a lone wolf. Now, how many of us are trying to do it alone? How many of you are a lone wolf? Now, I definitely had been grinding on my own up until this point, and maybe you have as well. Have you ever felt alone in your entrepreneurial journey? Have you felt like the pressure was all on you and only you? Maybe felt like there was no one that could truly understand and support you? Or maybe you just feel like your circumstances are so impossible or harder than anyone else. Well, I'll tell you, I personally could relate, and I'm sure Napoleon Hill could as well. But he made a choice to move forward, and I believe you can as well. And he chose to believe that the things he had in front of him, he could change. Well, after he had these thoughts, he went on to write, guess what? Think and Grow Rich, and the rest is history. This is a great example, and it was a great example for me at the time. It's one of the reasons that spurred me and helped me to decide to create the Daily Mastermind and the mobile app for very similar reasons. Now, I wanted to create one of the world's largest mastermind communities of entrepreneurs that you're a part of, and people that were focused on personal development and financial education and working together. And you know what? Guess what? It's time, I believe, for you to also be tapping into your true greatness and applying the amazing principles of the mastermind. It's time for you to take your life and business to the next level. So, you might be asking, what is the mastermind and how can it help you? Well, first of all, I want to make sure we're really clear on something. Let's be clear on what the mastermind is not. The mastermind is not get rich quick. It's not going to work less, make more. It's not about other people doing the work or leveraging other people. It's not about sitting by your mailbox and having positive thoughts, waiting for checks to come in. It's about hard work, and it's about applying and creating and utilizing the principles of definitive purpose and aligning others to work with you towards that same purpose. So let me give you a definition Napoleon Hill uses right out of the book, Think and Grow Rich. He says, a mastermind alliance is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. I'm going to read that again and emphasize a couple things. A mastermind alliance is the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. It's so important to have that definitive purpose. Now, there are several benefits that come along with the mastermind. I'm going to give you 3 of them that I pulled out of Think and Grow Rich for you. First, no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind. Next, when a group of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through that alliance becomes available to every individual in the group. And finally, when 2 or more people coordinate in a spirit of harmony and work toward a definite objective, they place themselves in a position through the alliance to absorb power directly from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. Now, I'm just going to summarize that. What is the mastermind? It's the coordination of 2 or more people for a definite purpose. And there are huge benefits. The creation of intangible forces, energy, and also more power that's available to be able to come towards you and help you in your goal and moving forward with your dreams. So the Daily Mastermind podcast has a very similar purpose. I want to be able to provide resources, knowledge, support, experience needed to spark the creative genius I know that is inside of you and attract resources to you in your life. I want to assist you in creating your ultimate destiny and helping you to identify what you need to create your own mastermind. Now, I believe you were born with incredible power inside you that you can create your best life. We were all born with this gift. But I want to challenge you to stop doing it alone. Stop focusing on merely the grind and start tapping into the power of a mastermind, a mentor, a community of individuals working towards common desires. I know you can do it. Now, I know I can dig deeper into the mastermind, but I respect your time, and I want to be able to instead shift and kind of focus on, let me just basically give you a couple of steps that you can start with and try to apply these principles. First, study the mastermind principle. Get a copy of Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 10. If you have the mobile app, it's in the ebooks. It's obviously free in the mobile app, but it's Chapter 10 on the mastermind principle. Study that, number 1. Number 2, begin to identify 2 or more individuals that you can align with to form your own mastermind. Now, this is not a support group. It's individuals that are focused on a common purpose. And I recommend positive, dependable, loyal, experienced, persistent, disciplined individuals. Don't worry about being perfect or having the perfect person. Your group will change over time. Okay? Number 3, create and maintain a definite purpose for the group. I'll talk to you later about this as you read about it, and you can learn more in Think and Grow Rich. And number 4, meet at least once per week. This is a key. You've got to be consistent with your mastermind. So that's our time today. I want to congratulate you on taking time to learn and grow. You're already tapping into the principle and powers of the mastermind just simply by listening to this podcast and making the decision to create your ultimate destiny. I hope to hear from you. I want to get feedback from you. I challenge you to continue to work towards your goals. I challenge you to create and maintain a powerful mastermind and continue to work towards your definite purpose without hesitation. I'm George Wright III, and please remember, it's never too late to start creating your life you were meant to live. I'll talk to you soon.